Hey everyone, Brian with Progressive Combat Systems here, and I am going to start a new self-defense question and answer playlist. And the reason is because I get a lot of questions from people on my email list, YouTube views, and then a lot from friends and clients and family members of clients. So I figured this is a great time to go through and answer these questions. Hopefully this will be helpful for you. Okay, Adrian asks, Brian, my wife does Aikido. Is Aikido good for self-defense? All right, so when I was a kid, I used to read Black Belt magazine or one of those magazines like that. And I remember a story where post-World War II, a bunch of Marines went into an Aikido school in Japan. So the Marines went in, they're like, cool, let us spar with your guys. And the Marines with zero training commenced to just throw and slam the Japanese Aikido guys just all over the place, even though these dudes were like, you know, masters and black belts. So I don't know, that should probably say something right there. You can go into YouTube and you can put in Aikido versus MMA, for instance, and you're just going to see the Aikido people are completely unable to utilize their Aikido techniques against people who don't want them to be able to utilize them. And hey, look, I'm going to offend a lot of people, but this, you're asking what my opinion is. In Aikido, all of the moves have to be done from someone coming, like either they have to grab your wrist. If someone's grabbing your wrist and you quickly do an Aikido move, okay, maybe it'll work. Someone has to come and attack you in some manner that just, it's not what people do in real violence. If your martial art that you're going to want to practice does not teach you how to fight against people the way that people actually fight in the street, there's no value. Now, if you kind of look deep into Aikido, I'm not even sure I would call it a martial art, aside from the fact that they do some joint locks. If you really look at the founder and what he said, I mean, here, this is from aikido.mit.edu. Direct quotes. Aikido is not a way to fight with or defeat enemies. It is a way to reconcile the world and make all human beings one family. Okay, I like the spiritual side of it, but the essence of Aikido is the cultivation of ki energy, a vital force, internal power, mental, spiritual energy. Hey, look, I'm kind of a science guy, and I will fully retract what I'm about to say if science proves ki or chi energy, but right now there's no such thing as mystic ki or chi energy. I don't believe any martial art that talks about ki or chi energy. If you hear a martial art talk about that, run away as fast as you can. Next quote, the secret of Aikido is to become one with the universe. I'll let you figure out what that means. Aikido is primarily a way to achieve physical and psychological self-mastery. I'm actually okay with that. I really like that, so thumbs up for me on that. I think any martial art should be mastery over yourself, mastery over your psychology, your mental state, your body, but at the end of the day, self-defense also means mastery over your opponent or opponents. The body is the concrete unification of the physical and spiritual created by the universe. We're getting really religious here. And once again, I'm not bashing that. It's just, here's the deal. If you're interested in self-defense, I think here's a good quote. Our system, whatever you want to call it, the goal is to get home safe. If that means hurting someone, there you go. There's a quote. You can quote Brian Copeland on that. The last thing I'd like to kind of say about Aikido, and this is really going to go into a lot of the martial arts that tend to do this, is the level of complexity of the movements. So if you can go and watch Aikido demonstrations, and they look great because you have a compliant partner, and they do a move, and the partner's all, and they're tapping, and they're yelling, and they're screaming, and the instructor's doing more, and all the students are, the observers are laughing, and I'm like, look, that's a demo. The guy's not really putting that guy in that much pain. If he did, he's an effing a-hole, because who's going to sit there and keep cranking on someone's joints while someone's screaming in agony, and it's your training partner, your student, your friend. Come on, get out of here. That's all a bunch of crap. This is disrespectful nonsense. So, when you look at law enforcement, corrections officers, detentions deputies, people who actually deal with real life violence, who are preferentially taught to do like locking techniques to move into handcuffing and, so they don't just start smashing people's teeth out. There's an old system, it's still used, especially it's used a lot in corrections. It's called PPCT, pressure point control technique or tactics, whatever it is. And it's all about putting someone into locks of various kinds, in compliance, pain things, and all that kind of stuff. Now, I've worked with countless law enforcement corrections officers, and here's what they always say. They're like, Brian, that shit almost never works. It works great against the people that are like, screw you, pig. Oh, okay, cool, and all right, and they cuff them up or whatever. But when you get someone who wants to fight, and you grab their wrist and you start pulling them in a lock, and they feel pain, and they boom, 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 they just start smashing. There are so many law enforcement officers and corrections officers that have been smashed because they go into those locks and they don't abandon the locks. Now, here's when I work with my law enforcement officers. I'm like, cool, you got to go for the locking, do it in a way that prepares you to look out for that punch. When the punch comes in, screw the lock, smash the brachial area, hit them in the eyes, kick them in the balls. Now go back for your lock, and amazingly, it'll work. So anytime you add complexity to fighting and you don't look for the simple answer, look at sports. It's the same thing in sports. Simple, direct wins, complexity loses. I hope you liked today's Q&A session. I hope it was helpful. If you have any additional follow-up questions, please leave them below in the comment field. I'd be happy to answer them. If you have any additional tips that I forgot to mention, feel free to leave those below in the comments field. As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the alert, the bell icon, so you get alerts when future videos come out. And please leave me a thumbs up. That helps my YouTube rankings. And as always, go get your reps and become awesome.
Survive.